If you think soft washing is just turning down the dial on a pressure washer, you are setting yourself up for a massive, massive fall. I see this all the time on the forums, guys boasting about how they just, softly washed a render wall using low pressure, but without understanding the actual chemistry. What they're actually doing is leaving the biological roots completely intact, or worse, they're using high pressure first and ruining the surface. Let's look at the actual science of what happens when you blast porous materials like sandstone or modern silicone-based K-rend with high-pressure water. It feels like you've cleaned it, right? It looks bright visually on the day, but under a microscope, you've actually just stripped away the protective factory coatings and blown open the microscopic pores of the material. You've essentially created this damp, rough, incredibly cozy incubator. You've made a perfect home for algae, moss and lichen spores to latch onto, and because the pores are now wider, they are going to return faster and deeper than they ever did before. I always tell my students to think of it like a kitchen counter. If you had raw chicken juice on your kitchen worktop, you wouldn't just grab a high-pressure hose and blast it, would you? No, because you just spread the bacteria everywhere. You use a disinfectant to sanitize the surface. That is what soft washing actually is. It's not a gentle rinse, it's a bioremediation process. We're using targeted chemistry to break down the biofilm, the actual protective layer the microorganisms build around themselves, at the root. If you just blast it with water, you're just giving the biological growth a shave, and just like a beard, it's coming back. But you have to know your surfaces. If you put a strong sodium hypochlorite mix on dry, thirsty wood decking, it's going to suck that chemical deep into the wood fibres and bleach it to a dead, silvery white, ruined mess. It looks like driftwood that's been in the Atlantic for 12 years. Or if you use a harsh brick acid on silicone render, you'll scorch it permanently. You have to understand surface porosity and vulnerability before you ever pull a trigger. When soft washing first started crossing over from America in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was absolute chaos. It was the era of the bleach bandits. Guys were literally buying raw agricultural sodium hypochlorite, throwing it into a plastic water butt in the back of a transit van, adding some domestic fairy liquid as a cheap surfactant, and just spraying it. No measurements, no safety data sheets, just pure guesswork and a hope that they didn't kill the homeowner's prize-winning rose bushes. But the industry had to grow up. Today, we have engineered non-ionic surfactants like Clever Wash that are specifically designed to be compatible with sodium hypochlorite, helping it stick and penetrate without breaking down the chlorine compounds in the drum. And instead of batch mixing in a tank and wasting leftovers, we use precise on-site dosing, like the Clever injector dosatron systems. The water flow from the tap physically drives a plunger that pulls the exact percentage of chemical needed, whether it's a gentle 1:6 ratio for render or a stronger 1:3 for a moss-covered roof. It's safe, it's professional, and it's consistent. And let's talk about the legal side, because this is where the cowboys get caught out. In the UK, we have strict COSH regulations, the Health and Safety at Work Act, and Environmental Agency guidelines. If you are letting chemical runoff flow straight into a surface rainwater drain, you are breaking the law. Professional contractors use drain barriers, they use neutralizing agents, they carry full RAMs, risk assessments and method statements, and they have safety data sheets customized for the exact dilutions they're spraying. If you can't produce those documents during an inspection, or if a spill happens and you don't have a plan, the fines are absolutely devastating. My philosophy has always been, look, knowledge has to come before the shiny equipment. You can buy a £10,000 van rig, but if you don't know how to calculate a dilution ratio or identify a delicate stone substrate, you're just an expensive liability. That's why we built the Softwash UK CPD-certified training course. It's a structured, self-paced pathway where you learn the actual chemistry, the legal compliance, and the safety protocols. Once you master the theory and complete the practical assessments, you earn your approved Softwash applicator status and join the National Association of Softwash. You're no longer guessing, you're operating to a verified, professional standard that commercial clients actually trust. Alright guys, that's it for this quick take. Keep it safe, know your chemistry, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye for now.